Greetings again, everyone. Once again, my name is Sophie and I'm from ClassLink. I'm going to be conducting your training this evening. And we're going to go over what ClassLink is and how your students will be logging into it and accessing their resources through it this evening. If you have any questions as we go throughout the information session this evening, you do have a question box. Please feel free to pop any questions that you have into that box and we will be sure to address them for you. To start this evening, I do want to begin with an overview of what ClassLink is. This may be the first time that you're hearing about it, or maybe you've heard about it during the fall, but we're still not quite sure exactly what ClassLink is. And really what ClassLink is going to become is your students' one-stop shop for all of your online resources. And that means they're going to be able to log into ClassLink with one set of credentials. And once they've logged into ClassLink, they're going to be able to access all of the resources that have been assigned to them with easy one-click access. So instead of having to memorize, all of those different usernames and passwords and locate all of the different URLs and links, everything is brought into one location so we can quickly and easily access resources and get about to the learning in the online resources instead of trying to log into them. ClassLink is fairly device agnostic in that it is available on your computers, your Chromebooks, and your mobile devices. However, depending on the device, there are two different ways that your users can access ClassLink. So on a computer, you are going to go to a website that I'm going to put in the chat box for you. And that is going to give you the ability to log in directly with your network credentials. On a mobile device, you will be able to download the ClassLink app. It's available in the Apple Play Store, the Google Play Store or in the Apple Store. And then once you have downloaded that, you're going to be able to log in directly to your ClassLink accounts. Now, when you navigate to those pages, what you're going to see is the login page that looks like this. So you're going to be able to navigate to that website and log in. I am going to go ahead and put your district specific URL into the chat box for you. So go ahead and pop that in there. Hold on just a moment. Let me do that one more time. So you can go ahead and click on that link. You can go to that site. You can put in your username and password and click the sign in button. So this is the way your users are going to be able to log in to ClassLink. And once you are logged in, you are going to be on your Launchpad. And there are already quite a few resources that have been assigned to students. All of these icons represent different resources or different platforms that they may be logging into for their various classes. They're all here for you, and many of them have very easy one-click access. And we're going to talk a little bit about what the different icons represent, the different logos on the icons and what they represent. And then we're going to talk a little bit more about how we can organize these icons because there are quite a few of them at this point. So once you have logged in and you see all of your icons, there's a couple of things that I want you to notice right off the bat. So when you're looking at your various icons, some of them have little keys on them. And when you see those little keys, what that signifies is that there's some sort of single sign-on attached to that particular application. And this is truly the magic of ClassLink. So for all of those single sign-on apps, you're going to be able to log into them without having to provide your credentials every time you log in. Now, there are some different types of login options. So for example, if I start with, for example, Sora. If I click on Sora, this is an application that automatically passes credentials through for your students, and they're logged directly into that resource. So when I log in, I can see I'm logged into Tipton Academy. I have all those resources here. So one click, I'm already logged in. Other applications may ask you to provide your credentials one time, the first time that you log in. And these are called password lockers because really you're taking your credentials and you're putting them in a locker for safekeeping. An example of this would be ClassDojo. So when I click on ClassDojo for the first time, I am prompted to provide my username and password. And then once I click save, they go into the locker and they're going to be passed through automatically for you next time. Now, if you clicked on Class Dojo, or if you clicked on any of the other applications and you got a weird message instead, it may have looked something like this. It was a prompting saying that the browser extension was not installed or enabled. That is okay. There is an extension that has been installed on all district managed devices that sort of hangs out in the background and provides some of the extra functionality of the ClassLink platform. If you're logging into ClassLink not on your district managed device, you will see this the first time that you click on any applications that require that extra feature. All you need to do is click the install extension button. That extension will then be installed into your browser, and you won't have to click on that, or you won't see that message ever again. Now, this image is specifically from Chrome, because I believe you are a Chrome heavy environment, but you would see the same type of message if you were logging in through Internet Explorer, Firefox, Safari, all of those browsers. You can also install the extension. So it does not matter what type of browser you're using, you would still be able to have the full functionality of ClassLink. Another example of a password locker would be Google Classroom. You click on that, you can provide your Google credentials that first time, and then every time after that, you will go ahead and be logged into that resource. So go ahead and you can continue to click around and see the various types of applications. There is a third type of application though, and you'll notice some of your apps do not have keys on them. And what those signify is those applications do not require an authentication. So they don't require a login. So they're resources that are here, you can pop over to them, and because they don't need an authentication to access, you're just automatically going to land on that page and you're going to be able to see that resource. So those are the 3 different types of applications and the 3 different functionalities that you could see with those applications on your platforms. So now that we know all of these applications and what's going to happen when we click on them, let's talk a little bit about how we're going to be able to organize these resources so that we can get to the ones that we use most often very quickly. One of the main ways that we're going to be able to organize these resources is through folders. And so folders are a way that you can group together applications for any type of similarity so that you can locate them quickly and easily. So for example, if I wanted to create a Google folder, I could start by wanting to put my Gmail and my Google Classroom icons into one folder. There are 3 different ways that we can create a folder. The first one is going to be very similar or very familiar to users who have iPhones. On your iPhone, if you click and hold an app and drag it over top of another app, you can create a folder. It's the same exact way here. So I can click, hold, drag it over, wait till it gets small, and then when you let go, they both pop into that folder. If I right click on the folder, it gives me the ability to edit that folder. And this is where I can give it a title. So maybe I want to call this my Google Tools folder. I can also pick any other color of the rainbow that I would like to color code that folder. And now I have a fully customized folder that's available to me. Another way to create a folder is by doing a right click on the application itself. So if I right click here, I can go down, there's an add to folder option. So I can create a folder by clicking add folder here if I wanted to create another brand new folder, or I can go to a folder that has already been created, click on that, and now that resource has been added to that folder as well. There is a third way to create a folder, I promise, and I'm going to show you that in just a little bit, so hold me to that, make sure I don't forget to tell you. But I do want to tell you a couple more things about that right click menu that we saw when we did that before. The first item on our right click menu list is this launch, it's set auto launch. Now what auto launch does is that when you click that for an application, you're going to see a little rocket appear on that app, and that is going to mean that application is going to automatically open every time you log into ClassLink. So if there are resources that you open every single day, and, whether that's your email accounts or whether that's one of these resources, you can set that to auto launch. It will automatically open. It's going to log you in because it has your credentials, and it's going to fully load for you. So you're going to be ready to rock and roll once you log into ClassLink for the first time. Now, if you decide you no longer want your application to auto launch, you're going to go right back to that right click menu. And now you can say remove auto launch, little rocket is gone. And I can see with the little message down below that my auto launch has been removed. Second item on that right click menu is add to favorites. When you add an application to favorites, two things happen. One, you get a cute little star on your icon, but more importantly, it now will appear in your favorites bar at the bottom of the page. So this is a great way to pull out those applications so you can always navigate to the bottom of the page and find them, click on it, and have it automatically open for you. Just like with auto launch, if I right click, now I can very easily say remove from favorites, little star is gone, and the icon in the favorites bar is also no longer there. Going back to that right click menu, we've talked about the first few items here. We also can add tags to icons. And this tag is another way that we can group resources that have some similarities. So I can hover over that. I can click add tag. Maybe I want to tag this as an HMH resource. I can click create. That creates the tag and it applies it to that specific resource. So now when I right click, I can see that it is checked off here. If I want to add that to another application, I can right click on another app. I can go down to app tags, and now I can click off that tag, and now they both have that tag. Now, how is this useful? Well, you do have a search bar at the top of your page, and you can use this search bar to put in the title of an application, and it will go ahead and pull that up to the top of the page for you. If you follow that search bar across to the right, you will see that there's a tiny little icon over there that looks like a shopping tag. And when I click on it, I'm going to see that tag that I had applied. And when I click on that tag, it's going to pull up all of the applications that I have added that tag to. So this is just another way for you to group those resources so that you can get to the ones that you're looking for quickly and easily. Couple more things in that right click menu. I do want to point out the report an issue. This is a really quick way to submit a ticket to the ClassLink help desk if there is something occurring when you click on that app that you're not expecting. You can put information in here, and when you click submit, all of that information is going to be sent off to the help desk, including your district and user information, so that we'll be able to communicate with you once that issue is resolved. So your right click menu is very helpful for you. You can use this to organize your resources, to make something a favorite, to set it to auto launch. So know that that's there for you whenever it comes to needing to do any organization. Across the bottom of the page, you have a few more icons in your favorites bar that can be very helpful to you. We're going to go right to left here. The one on the right is a My Analytics tab. This is a way for you to be able to track your own usage. So when you click on this, it's going to tell you a little bit about your login history. It's going to tell you about which applications that you click into the most. It can tell you information about your specific accounts. So if you wanted to track how often or how much you've been working or into which resources you've been working in, this is a way that you can track that information. The icon in the middle is for My Files. When I go ahead and click open My Files, this is going to take us to a section of ClassLink where you can connect your Google Drive. This is nice in that once I do connect the Google Drive, this is going to give me the ability to view all of the files that have been shared with me, all of my created files. I'm going to actually be able to create Google Docs from here as well to save here. So it's a nice and easy way to be able to access your Google Drive and be able to go ahead and get to all of your documents that you need to complete your work when you are logged into ClassLink. The icon on the left is for your backpack. This is a nice resource because this is a way that your teachers may be pushing out announcements, maybe providing customized resources to you. So when you click on My Backpack, you should see a list of your classes. Now, if you give me just a moment, I'm going to switch over to a different account because I do not have any, I don't have any classes in this account, but when I flip over to this dashboard, I do. So if as I log in, I'm going to be able to see a list of all of my classes that are assigned to me. You can switch the view back and forth, whether you want to see them in blocks or in a line. When you click into a class, any announcements that your teacher has assigned to you, you're going to see pop up here. You're also going to be able to see any applications that have been assigned to you here. If your teacher has posted a message to which they would like you to reply, a discussion thread, if you will, you'll see that posted here. You'll be able to post a reply here. So this is a way for you to be able to access your resources, see announcements from your teachers, and participate in discussion boards. So if you do get a prompt, or if you are led by your teachers to go into your backpacks, this is the location where they're asking you to do that so that you can see the resources that they've assigned to you. Okay. Switching from the very bottom of the Launchpad to the top of the Launchpad, we do also have a navigation bar up here. I'm going to work my way from left to right and show you a few of the features that you have available here. In the very top left corner, you do have what I would call a hamburger icon, but that may just be because I'm hungry. From here, you can also navigate to your backpack, to your My Files, and to your analytics page. But this is also where you can turn on high contrast for any users that are that have visual impairment. So that is an option for you there. Moving to the right, the first icon that you come to is going to be a pen and paper icon, and this is edit mode. When you click on the pen and paper icon, the edit mode bar pops open, and I promised you a third way to create a folder, and here it is. So when I click on add folder here, that prompt pops up. From here, I can create that folder. I can go ahead and pick another color to color code that. And when I create the folder, it's going to populate onto my list below, or onto my Launchpad below. From here, you're always going to be able to click and drag applications. Ooh, hold on to that thought. You're going to be able to click and drag applications into that folder, or I can also give a right click to add to that folder as well. And if you decide you don't want a folder anymore, don't forget that right click also gives you the ability to remove a folder. When you delete a folder, do not worry, you're not going to delete any of the applications in the folder. You're just getting rid of the organizational bucket, that folder, and the icons will go right back on your Launchpad. Following that bar across, you do have the option to customize the look of your Launchpad, and you can do that by first adjusting the theme. The theme that your Launchpad defaults to is the classic theme. You can also change that to the primary theme. This is more of a streamlined interface for you. Icons are larger. You can get to things quickly and easily. So you may find this to be helpful if you have a younger student in order to help them get to their resources quickly and easily. We also have a professional theme. This takes that navigation bar from across the top of the page and it slides it over to the left side. Options still remain the same, but you can also shrink this to just a row of icons. I'm going to go back to the classic theme because that happens to be my personal favorite. You also have the ability to change the app size from the default size you see to a smaller option or a larger option. You can also change the font style from the text background to the text shadow or vice versa. And your palette option is actually your accent color. So as you change this color, you'll see that it changed the navigation bar across the top. It also changes the color of the icons that are populating onto your apps as well. And once you're done making modifications to the look of your Launchpad, you can exit out of edit mode by clicking on the X on the far right side, or you can click back on the pen and paper icon and the edit mode bar will disappear. Right next to that icon, you do have a bell, and this is an icon for notifications. Your administrators do have the ability to push out announcements via the notifications tab here. If you ever have a message that's assigned to you, you will see a little circle with a number in it, which I feel is the universal sign of you have a message these days. And then you'll know you'll be able to come in here, click on the bell, and the message that has been assigned to you will populate here. Following that line across, we've already talked about the search bar as well as the tags option here. I do want you to click on the profile button in the top right corner, and I want you to go into settings for just a moment. Many of the things that we just talked about in edit mode are things that we're going to be able to modify from here. The first thing you can do is select a profile image. There are a ton of adorable avatars that you can select from here. And once you've selected that image, it will populate into that profile tab for you. You also can change your themes from here. So if you wanted to go ahead and modify that. Your password lockers are all going to be listed here as well. So if you ever needed to make a modification to a password locker, you can come in here, click that pen and paper icon and modify it. As you set resources to auto launch, they will be marked here for you as enabled. So this is a way that you can keep track of which apps you have set to auto launch. You also have the ability to come to the security session if you ever need to disable or log out of an active session for any reason. If you've logged into a device and then you log into another device and you need to log out, those options are here for you as well. I'm going to go ahead and click the X in the top right corner, and that closes my profile settings and brings me back to my Launchpad. So this is a very brief overview of the various resources and the various functionality that your students has available to them through the Launchpad. This is a resource that will continue to evolve over time. You may have noticed even from earlier in the fall that there are new and different icons that have been added, and that they will continue to appear throughout the year and from year to year as the implementation grows and expands. If you would like to see more information or review other training sessions that have been built directly for students, there is a Webinars for Students icon on your Launchpad. When you click that, it's going to pop open into a new tab. And there are previously recorded sessions available here for you to watch on demand. And those are going to be covering the same type of information. And they also will be approximately 25 to 30 minutes in length if you would like to view other information. I'm going to go ahead and pause for a couple of moments to double check and make sure that we don't have any questions. But now, if you have not taken a moment to pop questions into the question box, please feel free to go ahead and do so. We did have a question come in regards to checking in on student progress. And so you would be able to log into your students' accounts on your phone through the ClassLink app if you had their network credentials. And once you logged into the Launchpad, you would be able to access any of their resources. We might have a more detailed answer of where the best place to look. I might be able to, Angela might be able to give us that information to be able to check on their specific assignments and what they should be working on. But you would be able to log into their accounts on your phone through the ClassLink app.
Yes, and just to add in a little bit, thank you, Sophie. If you are looking specifically on, specific assignments or classwork, more than likely through Google Classroom, there are some grades listed or report cards will be coming. But if you are looking to see, maybe you're at work all day and you're thinking that your child or your student is logging in, as Sophie said, you could log in and go to the analytics and be able to see how often, how long, what periods of time, what days your child is logging into those different apps. I think through the app summary, it might give you some additional, on that one, it will show you how much time was spent in each of those applications. So you do have to log in through your student or your child's credentials in order to go into their account, but it does give you access through that analytics to see, have they actually been logging in and doing the work that they should?
Thank you, Angela. Angela, another question has come in that's maybe one you can help me address. The question is, how do I log in to print off pages of assignments sent by the teacher?
Okay.
Seems like we could be having, go ahead.
Yeah, so I'm thinking that those specific assignments that are in there are probably in Google Classroom. They're probably being posted in Google Classroom itself. And so some of the assignments, I would imagine you could click on and print those specifically through Google Classroom. Some may not be able to be printed. So I think that is a question that I would ask either for you to come to the training we're having in a couple weeks on Google Classroom to get a little bit more guidance on how to work through that, or also to reach out to your teacher specifically. Through ClassLink itself, there isn't any work that would be printed or posted just to ClassLink. ClassLink is really just the management system that kind of houses all of the resources that we use. And we wanted a management system in place because back in the spring, I know parents were very overwhelmed with the amount of different resources and all over the place. So we're trying to make it a little bit more organized and easier for our parents. I'm not sure if I was able to help at all. I think that one is a little bit more specific to a different resource.
Angela, do you know about Chromebooks and connecting with printers? Are there any specific settings or anything to be aware of with Chromebooks and possible printer connection issues?
I don't know that answer for certain. I believe that as long as it is connected to a printer, it should be okay. But you know what? I will follow up with my tech support if either Sophie, you can share with me who that question came from, or if someone wants to reach out to Mrs. Gilbert directly, I can try to see how we can help you with that through our tech support.
Thank you. We can make sure that that information is shared with you as well, Ms. Gilbert. All right. I don't think I have any other questions in the box at the moment, although we may be in the middle of typing them. And I am sure that Angela will echo, I greatly appreciate you stopping by this evening and letting me share with you a little bit about Launchpad and its functionality. I am a true believer that this can be very helpful for assisting your students in accessing online resources. So I hope that you have seen how that could be valuable to your students and how easy and straightforward it is to log in and access things. And if there are other questions that pop up, ClassLink is, we're in a partnership. We're always here to continue to answer your questions. And I know that your administrators have been working very hard with me throughout the summer and fall to put all of these implementation pieces together. So I appreciate you stopping by. This session is going to be recorded, or it has been recorded, and I'm going to be sharing the copy of it with the district so that we will be able to be shared out and reviewed. And also other individuals that were not able to attend tonight can see it. So I don't know, Angela, I don't know if you have anything else you'd like to wrap up with this evening?
I just wanted to thank everybody that was able to jump on tonight. I did see that a few attendees came a little bit late. As Sophie said, this is recorded. We are going to be sharing it out with our families. You know, I know that everyone's kind of just kind of stuck with us through the implementation of this. It is getting a little bit smoother. I know there's still little things that we're working out on individual basis right now, but you know, thankful for all of our parent support. Thankful for Sophie. This was great. I really appreciate it. You can definitely explain it much better than I can as I'm still learning. And yeah, we just stick with us, communicate, ask questions, and we hope you have learned from participating in this session.
All right. Well, have a wonderful rest of your evening, and look for the recording of this to be shared out very soon. And again, thank you so much. Have a great night.
Thank you, Sophie. Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.